Hi y'all, thanks for joining me today. This is Debbie Arnold with Dining with Debbie, and today we're going to be making a fun Christmas treat that you can keep at home for those guests that drop by or pass out to friends and neighbors, however you might want to share it. But this is so easy, and this is a great one to get your kids involved with. It doesn't involve a lot of cooking technique, it's just a major mixing thing that you have to do. You're going to start by prepping a large sheet pan, and I like to spray it a little bit with some cooking spray and then put parchment paper on top of it, because this is kind of a sticky thing we're doing. I call this a Christmas crunch. People call it different things, Merry Munchies, Christmas crack, although I don't particularly like that name. But you're going to start with some of your favorite cereals. I suggest that you vary it depending upon what your family likes. You could use Rice Chex, Corn Chex, Cheerios, Oat Squares. I'm using today some Honey Grahams. I like to use those little Graham teddy bears in this, but our cupboards were bare with those when I went to the grocery store. So I'm subbing in these today, and this will add a little cinnamon touch to it. And I think it's important to get at least one of your cereals with some cinnamon flavor in there. Another one is, well, actually, this has the cinnamon in it. It's the Life cereal. We like to eat this, so I didn't mind going ahead and buying the large box. And then just for fun, we're going to try this Christmas Crunch. Now, I'm not big on pre-sweetened cereal so much, but I thought this might be fun for the kids, especially because of the colored cereal grains that are in there. It's corn and oat, so we've got a lot of variety going on here. And again, that's kind of up to you what you want to use. I wouldn't use something like a granola or anything like that, but all those Chex Mix cereals type things that people use for Chex Mix that may be hard to find right now, that's what you want to use. But gather up what you think you'll like in this. Going to gather up that. We're going to have 3 cups of each one of those cereals, and I got my big dish pan out because it takes a lot of room for this. So you've prepped your pan, you've gotten your cereal measured in here, 3 cups each, and the whole recipe for this will be at the end of the video. Now, as far as the next ingredients are concerned, you can vary this to suit your own taste. You do need at least 24 ounces of almond bark or white chocolate. I prefer the white chocolate, or you can use these candy melts, and this is a good brand. These are vanilla flavored. This is the time when I go to my cupboard and I look to see if I've got scraps of things left over, from baking. I had a lot of white chocolate chips left over and some pieces of Ghirardelli white chocolate. So I'm using those in here as well. I've measured those out already. I will melt those with about a tablespoon or so of coconut oil. And I like to do that because I think it makes it smoother. I'm going to melt these in the microwave, and you do have to be careful when you're doing that. You're going to do them about 30 to 45 second intervals. Give them a stir. You don't want to do them for a very long period of time or it'll harden up on you. If you want to melt it over a double boiler, that's your preference, then you go ahead and do that. All right, so we have our cereal, we have our white chocolate, or like I said, you could use almond bark, and the rest of the ingredients are really kind of up to you. I like to keep it Christmassy, so I'm going to be using some peppermint, and I like to use these little crushed candy canes that you can already buy crushed up, but unfortunately, I didn't buy them back in October when they were on the shelf, and I can't find them anywhere now. I happen to have these left over, so I'm going to use those up. But I did crush up some soft peppermint candies, and I'm not talking about the hard candy canes like you can typically buy. These they come in a big bucket like this, or if you can find the soft peppermint sticks, those will work as well. So it's like these, and I just crush them up while they're still in the wrapper using my rolling pin, just pound them. And I used about, a half a cup or so. Again, the amounts on this are going to vary to suit your taste. All right, the next thing I'm going to have added in is some M&M Christmas candies. These are the milk chocolate ones. You can, if you want to use another flavor, that's up to you. I also like to use in the little minis at times too. So you'll want a good, you know, 11 ounce or so bag of those. And I thought these would be fun too. I'm going to add in a little of these. These are trees and stockings. They're white cream. I guess that's kind of like, I've not tasted these. They're kind of like white chocolate, I suppose. But they've got little Christmas shapes, trees and stockings. So I'm going to spread a few of those on there. And I also like to add in some peppermint bark. And here again, this is some I had left over that was in my cupboard. And so I've just broken it up. And I'm going to sprinkle that on top of the cereal after I've added on the chocolate. And I picked up some Mike and Ike's. My grandchildren like Mike and Ike's a lot, so I'm going to sprinkle a few of those on there. You could cut these up if you want. I just chose not to. You're going to want 3 cups of pretzels. Now, I like to use the little pretzels. If you can find the little squares, those are fine too, but certainly the ones that are like this. If you use the sticks, you might want to break those in half. Right, so we have pretzels, we have cereals, we have our candies. Well, I like to add in nuts. Now, you don't have to. That's strictly up to you. If I'm making it for my grandchildren, I don't add the nuts because I have a grandson who has nut allergy, so we don't do that. But since I'm going to be handing these out around here, around the neighborhood, I'm going to go ahead and use the nuts. And I found these nuts. Really like these. These are Planters Winter Spice Mix, and it's honey roasted peanuts, almonds, honey roasted sesame sticks, cashews, and pecans. So I'm going to be using about a half to 3/4 of a cup of these to sprinkle on there as well. You could use roasted salted almonds if you prefer. Also, you could use seeds like pumpkin seeds or and also with cranberries in here. I may sprinkle a little bit of this on there. You could certainly just use dried cranberries on there if you wanted to. Again, it's strictly up to your taste and whatever you want to get on there and enjoy. I just like to use things that I think look to me like they're Christmassy. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to melt the chocolate, melt the white chocolate, and then I'll come back and show you how we put all this together. Alright, so our white chocolate is melted, and I will tell you that I had to go back and add in some more coconut oil. If your mixture seems too thick, it's not melting as well as you want it to, then just add a tablespoon or 2 of coconut oil, and that will thin it down. If you're using the almond bark, you may not run into the same thing. And you want to work quickly and get that mixture in with your cereals. Just get it all in there. This is when you need big, strong arms. All right, so we're going to stir this up into the cereal, get real good and mixed up before we pour it out onto that sheet pan that we talked about earlier. Try to get all of it covered as best as you can. And it will keep on covering if you just keep stirring. If you've got those vinyl gloves or surgical gloves or whatever, and you want to use your hands for this, please do. It's a lot easier. I just didn't happen to have any. I thought I did. I looked in my pantry and I guess we've used them all. We haven't replenished them. All right, we're getting pretty well covered here, and you can see that you can still see the colors of the cereal in here. I kind of like the way that added in here. And the pieces are covered. You don't want them solid or anything like that. I mean, not like dipped pretzels or anything. Just enough sweetness in there to hold it all together. All right. And I did melt the white chocolate in about 2-minute increments at 60% power after I got it started. Just to help it go faster. But you want to really watch it or it will seize up on you. Okay, we're going to spread it all out onto our big sheet pan. If you don't have a big one like this, you need to maybe use 2. And if you have kids handy, I'm sure they'll be ready to, lift the bowl for you. But don't you see where this would be fun to do with your kids or grandkids? If I can hog tie mine over Christmas break, we're going to do it. They're teenagers now, so they stay so busy, it's hard to get time with them. All right. It's all good mixed up. So spread it out. And one thing you want to do is watch for pockets where you have a lot of white chocolate maybe on something, and try to spread that out a little bit. Spread it out. You could spread this out on a countertop if you wanted to clean up the mess afterwards, but I didn't. All right. We're going to let this cool for about 45 seconds to a minute before we add in our other ingredients, because you don't want them to melt in there. If you added the chocolate in here now, it would just make a big mess. All right, so just to recap, we had 3 cups of each one of the 3 cereals, and use a variety of cereals. We had 3 cups of pretzels, and those are the small pretzels. And then we have 24 ounces of white chocolate that's melted with about 3 tablespoons of coconut oil. I would start with a tablespoon and then add it as I needed it to make it a really smooth mixture. Again, if you use almond bark, 24 ounces of almond bark, you probably won't have to use the coconut oil. But if it's not melting as smoothly as you like, that's always a trick you can do. You certainly don't want to get any water in there. If you get water in melting chocolate or anything like that, it's going to seize up on you. All right, so we're going to start with some of our peppermint. And I'm just going to sprinkle that on. Here again, you know, if y'all don't like peppermint, don't put it in there. Okay. And I left some of this in pretty good sized chunks. And honestly, y'all, I just eyeball it at this point. I gave you some approximate measurements. But you're going to have to just use your own judgment. All right. So we've got those peppermints on there. And again, I know some people don't like chocolate with peppermint. We do. But if you don't, then don't use it. All right, it's cool enough now. I can add in some of our candies. Here we have those little stockings and trees that I showed you, and some mini M&Ms. So I'm just going to sprinkle those on there. Feel free not to use the whole thing if you don't like, don't want to. If you think it's enough, then that's enough. All right, spread it back out. I think I'm going to add in some of the larger M&Ms at this point. Again, you want it to be really Christmassy looking. And I probably have enough cereal to make a whole nother batch later on, so I probably will do so. That's one nice thing. You have to buy the big boxes of cereal because we're not big cereal eaters. We eat a lot of homemade granola. But anyway, all right, so can you see how that's getting all Christmassy? Now I'm going to add in a few of these Mike and Ike's. I just thought that would be kind of a different little treat in there. Those ends over here, get them good and mixed up in there. And now I'm going to add in some peppermint bark. Here again, a lot of this was stuff I had left over from other cooking projects I've been working on or have done. So, and we always got sprinkles at our house. I don't know about you, so I'm going to sprinkle on some of those Christmas sprinkles. And some of our nuts. Here again, if you don't like nuts, don't put them in. It's always, I like recipes that can be flexible. And that's one thing about what I try to tell the kids when I'm working with them on a cooking project is if you don't like something, let's talk about what you might substitute in there for it. You know, some things you can't, but something like this you certainly can. Lots and lots. I'm going to add a few more nuts in here. And we've got some cranberries and seeds. Don't want to overdo it either. Okay, I think we've just about gotten everything in there. May add a little bit more peppermint, I think. You're going to have to you're going to press this down. I'm going to get some wax paper and press it down so that it all sticks together. See, I could have even used another pan here probably. All right. Take your wax paper and just your hand and press it down, much kind of like you would Rice Krispie treats if you were doing those, because you want it to kind of stick together. Not so much that you break everything up though. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to let this cool completely, and then we're going to come back and we'll break it up and put it in bags. And you want to, that's where some of you really crafty people can get all fancy. I'm not very crafty, but I can cook. So anyway, we'll come back and see what it looks like after we get it all broken up and bagged up. So our mixture has cooled, and I've broken it up a little bit. If you don't do that, it's going to stay in big clumps. So just kind of break it up, stir it up, and then you can start spooning it into your bags or your canisters, whatever it is you're going to use for your little gifts that you're going to give out, or put it in an airtight container for yourself at home and enjoy it all of this Christmas season. It is really sweet, but you know, we're only indulging for a few weeks, and we'll all get back to it in January. I like to fill these up, and I give them out to the delivery people. Heaven knows, Amazon and I are on first-name basis these days. And our police force and our postmen. All right, so I've put in a good little bag of it. I've already gotten some tags on here. I'm going to seal it up and then tie a little ribbon around it. Whatever, if you can find some really cute ribbon, you know, that'll really dress it up a lot. I wish I could find some more of this, but I haven't seen it around. So tie that up really nice and tight so it stays airtight, and then put them aside, and then you'll have them whenever you need a little gift for somebody. Again, I hope you enjoy making some Christmas crunch. It's easy, it's relatively inexpensive for the amount that you get, and you'll spread some Christmas cheer by giving it out. Hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for coming.